Just letting you know, this is only my spoiler first impressions of the episode. Check my pinned comment for a free gift related to this video. And to watch my unfiltered reactions with exclusive bonuses, join my Asha Media TV Club. The link is in the description box below. Now, here's my afterthoughts of this episode of Supernatural.
Alrighty. Okay, I'll be honest right now, I am crunching for time. So, without being too rushy, let's get to... I can't not acknowledge at least this beginning scene because it does tie in. So, let me just kind of find a freeze frame here. That works. Okay. Introduced to the two brothers, that leads up to everything else that happens. I like that because, I mean, it could have been one or the other in terms of just opening up the episode as they normally do. And so the good surprise of it is it's tied in. And even when I said out loud, they wouldn't have showed those two boys. What I should have also added, well, it's not like they haven't showed people at the beginning who die of something, and it doesn't really mean anything later on anyway, except for finding out who killed it, right? So it's like a 50-50, but I'm glad in the end it does tie in nicely, and it was a nice surprise to see that he ended up becoming a hunter, of all things, which makes sense because when something traumatic like that has happened, they have shown in previous episodes, back, I think maybe in more earlier episodes, that it will lead you to take that path and learning about the supernatural. Actually, no, wait. We had, spoke too soon there. Scheisse, I don't remember his name. Of course I don't. What else is new? But the one that most of you don't like, the actor there, the one that blamed Dean for the death of his father, right? He ended up being somewhat of a hunter to get to Dean specifically, not necessarily monsters. So I guess can't really count him. But anyway, I like the premise of everything and then showing the whole thing with the coin. And that's how he's able to recognize him later. Good tie-in. All right, let me just know. Is there much to say with this part here? No, it's the same old of how they find a reason to get onto their case. But Candace McClure, yes. Actually, let me see if I can get a more clear shot. Okay, here's good. Yeah. Hey, BSG fan. It's nice to see her. That's as much as I'll say. I'm trying to think, have I seen her in something recent? I have for Canadian. There was a whole thing with... Anyways, she was in a thing related to Canada and stuff, special that I watched a few years ago. But in terms of TV shows and stuff, I don't recall anything much. But it's nice to see her. And playing a sheriff, because when I saw the sheriff car thing, I almost thought for a quick second maybe they might bring in Jody Mills. Even though they're not in Sioux Falls, but I associate Jody to sheriff every time I see something along those lines. Okay, let's keep going. So the interview here where they're finding out some details. Ganja girl, as he was calling her. Yeah, so this was pretty freaky, this whole thing of her... Oh, I was trying to get to the point... Yeah, she looks up at her. And just the sound effect of anything was very poignant. And having the whole green eyes glaring thing. And then finding out what that all means, where it's a mating call. Oh, damn. Okay, well, speaking of mating call, actually, let's move to that scene. This is the most enjoyable scene of the entire show. The entire episode, excuse me. Just because it was lively and, hey, you know me, I'm always a sucker for any type of flirtation with either Dean or Sam. I love stuff like that. It's always fun. When it's fun, it's fun. When it's not, it's not. But she did a good job. And Sam's reaction is always the same standard, like, what? Anyway. That was fine. Trying to see if I can freeze frame on a shot between them. Yeah, I forgot what line it was that she said at this point, and I just thought it was hilarious. Oh yeah, unless you have a different definition of diddling. And I like how the whole volunteering around was used as a term. Sometimes it's really small, dumb things that I'm amused by. What can I say? Just like most of Dean's jokes. I think they're hilarious. And I love how Sam always says you're an idiot as, as a reply half the time. Okay, let's move a little forward here. There's a kill shot right there. Rawr. Yeah, so I can already say right now the pacing of this episode was just not favorable, and it's too bad because it's a new thing, right? It's a new lore, a new creature, and if the pacing was just a lot faster or a lot tighter, I think it would have worked out to be a rewatchable episode. But it just wasn't. But more than anything, I would say what saves this entire episode, honest to God, are the introduction of these two people, and that this ends up being the grown-up version of the little boy. And forgive me, in this very moment, you shouldn't be surprised, I actually forgot the character names. If I remember, I'll put it on the screen there, but either way, it was nice to just see them interact with a new set of hunters because, you know, as you're going through the motions of Crowley and Rowena and Castell and Lucifer and all that divine stuff, you almost forget till they remind you in an episode like this, that this is a hunter's world, and to see them re-engage themselves with hunters in a general sense was nice. It was very nice. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Can you imagine? No, I don't want to imagine any further. Just the way they were describing how they possess them, and which one's crueler, the demon possession or these possessions? They're both equally cruel. Ugh, okay. But if I had to choose, no, actually, I'm not even going to go in that debate. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, no, I'm fine with the conversation here, the camaraderie. I think this actor did a good job in showing how much she's still so affected by the whole situation. You know, he's carrying such a weight of grief and anger, amongst other things. The subtext of being in a small town and not being quote unquote normal to the standards of that small town. All that subtext was laced in very tactfully. And then here, Dean finds kindred with this guy, and then Sam gets along. I mean, essentially, I would say more than anything, I'm sure you can label it differently, you know, but I don't know how to say it, so never mind. Either way, these two get along, and Sam and the other guy gets along. Oh, forgive me, people. When it gets to these things where I'm crunching for time, it can be frustrating because I don't want to shortchange any of the value I can perceive in this episode. This part here, although they got the information that they needed in terms of finding the lair and so forth, the execution of this was so darn boring. The result of the execution was boring. I just could not empathize at all or even connect with this character. And like I said in my reaction, I'm not sure if it's his performance of it or that. I'm not sure what it is. But it was definitely a scene I wish they had just cut out and find some other way to figure out where the lair was. Yeah, just didn't do it for me. So let's move to the part where they find the dead women, and special effects wise, yeah, it's very impressive. I don't think we've seen something like this before in a series where this creature is cocooning in the bodies of these women, since there's a womb to do so. Goodness. Definitely hits the mark there for horror. That's why I said that's horrific. Because it really is. And having the women be dead, all the more so to get to the point of killing them, sparing this town more of these creatures being born. All right. Let's wrap it up here. So giving him the chance to get his vengeance, I like that. And I think, yeah, now that I'm thinking about it and just looking at the scene, okay, good, it landed nicely. His reaction to it being just like, yeah, it's his kill, but at the same time too, for him to find the closure on his own terms. I'm not sure how to articulate it, but I liked that he wasn't all like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go get him." He was just like, let's do it." But there's just so much of the pain he carries with all of that. He did a good job performing that. Now, I could easily at this moment here where he finds his brother like right away as soon as he walks in the cave, I can easily be like, "Oh my gosh, that's like, really, you found your brother? That's the first body you see." But for the sake of the story, no worries, all right, people. For the sake of the story, I I can empathize and understand, or not understand. I get it. I get it. How we needed to see this closure. I guess in terms of direction, at the very minimum, what they could have done just to make it just a tiny bit more plausible, right? That you see your brother so quickly, is show him maybe rummaging just a bit through the bones and maybe seeing because they're using flashlights, right? So maybe he could have seen like the shimmer of the coin kind of seeping out of the little bag. And then he sees that's his brother. I don't know. There's something more of a dramatic effect that would have had to watch him get to that rather than as soon as they walk in with him there, he spots all that. I'm not a writer. I'm just saying from a person that likes to be entertained in certain ways, I would have just kind of maybe put it that way. But it was nice. It was nice in the end. He found his brother. He got his closure, gets the coin, which I guess would be valued a lot of money now if it was valued that much at that time. With inflation and everything. Yeah, okay. So yeah, this part here, if you're willing, clarify with me, does anybody get a hunter's funeral? Like you don't need to be a hunter? I claimed it as hunter by association kind of thing, or was it just they thought it would be neat to have a shot like this? Because to me, everybody else that was dead in there deserved just as much a decent burial, not just the brother. Anyway, perhaps for just familiarity with a burial, maybe? I don't know. I just would have preferred likely he buried his brother the standard way. And that there was some mention of, yeah, whatever. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. I don't know. Let's move on from that. Trying to cut down on being a bit too nitpicky unnecessarily. It comes and goes for me, as I'm sure you've noticed. Okay, so yeah, this part here at the end, I thought it was great that, I mean, although I was excited at the possibility of them joining for just a little bit, I knew right away, as I said right away too as well, they'll find some reason for that not to be the case. I just didn't think it'd be like right at the end of the episode. But it was a very nice moment to see that, okay, they're hanging up their hunter, what do you say, towels? Or something? I forgot how he worded it. And Dean spared them the details of what's really going on in the world. So I wouldn't mind if they somehow join the fight at some point, but I don't think they will. But if they do, it'd be cool. So I'm open to either or. Yeah. No, would you like to leave it off? Okay, I'll leave it there. They're looking out, ready to go. So I presume episode 20 will be, well, I presume the last remaining episodes of the season will be more focused on the entire plot with Amara, Lucifer, God. Yes. Rowena as well. She's kind of, I was thinking about that from the last episode, like she's kind of in her own, she's not with anybody, but she's not for anybody as well. I mean, I guess she'll have to pick a side. I know it's completely off topic, but just saying that my wheels are now just what's going to happen next. Anyway, I'll leave that when that time comes. So for now, in terms of Ashamoji, I will give this a solid 3 because new lore. Those 2 hunters was a nice addition, a welcomed addition, and actually I think is what saved the entire story from being more or less a 2 Ashamoji for me. But pacing was just, ugh. I mean, I tuned out at a couple of times. I don't know if you noticed, but I almost, I tuned out a couple of times in the episode. So, and I was a bit distracted as well throughout my reaction. So all those factors came into play. But if I'm trying to be fair here, I think I think a 3 is generous right now. So I'll leave it at 3. There you have it then. That's my afterthoughts for episode number 19 from the 11th season of Supernatural. If you want access to my unfiltered reaction to this episode, details on joining my club is in the description box below for you. There is where I share bonuses and extra stuff with club members only. So check it out if you're interested. All right, it's a wrap for me. I will see you in the next video for episode number 20. Peace out.
Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe and check out my other videos.